Okay, so now it's May 10th, 2021. I'm going to put this first, people, and then after this, you're going to see mostly Matilda. Okay, because I don't know what's up with that raccoon, but she sure loves us, people. I'm telling you, I haven't even moved from this house, and I'm already worried as to where she's going to go. Okay, because when I moved in, there was raccoons on this property, right? And, so I've just been dealing with them, right? And just so happens I'm a nice person, okay? If I could start a pet program for them, I would, but, you know, maybe that's for another day. In the meantime, I'm just going to touch base on a couple of things that I'm looking on the internet, and I think it's important to note a couple of things, really, for anyone that comes across this video, as if anyone would know unless they've been following the story. But besides that point, I'm going to start with Texas first. Okay? I was on BitChute, right? I'm on BitChute right now. I'm going to show you, okay? Because I highly recommend that you go to BitChute and you look up for this video and you listen to this video. And what it is, it's, or better yet, I'm putting it on my forum. I have a forum with the nonprofit, right? And for the last little while, I've just been posting random videos as I come across them in their particular regions, territories, like, you know, state or province, right? Or territory. No, I haven't spent a lot of time on it, but I spent some time on it. I don't know what dropped. My mouse. I lost my computer glasses. I'm always losing my glasses. If I'm not losing these ones, my runaround glasses, which don't really work no more, I've now lost my computer glasses, so I'm using these ones. Okay, so I'm listening, right? It's on BitChute. I'll show you. I'll take the camera and I'll show you, okay? And it's the Senate of Texas. They're having a Senate meeting, right? And they're debating, I guess, or whatever, as to whether they should allow mandatory vaccinations to occur in their state through businesses, you know, employers forcing their employees to do it, or being able to go to a university or to school under those kind of situations, right? They don't, right? So that's what's happening here. And then you have some doctors. Now this is just a little clip, so I mean, we don't get to see the whole thing. And I'm trying to find it on YouTube, but for whatever reason, I can't find it. I mean, it should come up, but it's not, right? It's probably there, people. I just don't know how to search for it. And if it's there, then it means that it's being shadow banned, okay? Because it should be one of the first things that come up on the search engine on Google with YouTube. Because it's recent. It's only happened in the last few days, okay? And I'm going to show you that. So this is why I say maybe you should consider going to BitChute once in a while and go looking up on some videos there to get more of that unbiased information. Because I wouldn't consider a Senate meeting, right? An assembly, a legitimate Senate, right? To be misinformation, okay? Right? I just wouldn't. But why can't you find it on YouTube? I can guarantee you Dr. God, Dr. Death, Dr. whatever she is to you, is going to be getting up on YouTube today, because it's Monday, right? Going on about how British Columbia, Canada, is so immune to no adverse effects, but yet go 3,000 miles to Texas into a legitimate parliament building, right, with a bunch of senators, and you're going to hear something different, completely different in regards to the statistics, those world learning episodes, you know, through their studies of 18 people, okay, in terms of our side of the story. You know, in a nutshell, they confirmed, right, that through VAERS, which I've already shown you, and I'm not going to repeat it. This is why I'm doing this video, because I shouldn't have to go back onto VAERS, pull up the numbers and say, oh, instead of 3,000 people dead now, after the fact of receiving these so-called, quote-unquote, I like to call them analogs, simply because they were manufactured in a lab with a chemist, with synthetic, okay, plastics, you know, that kind of stuff. Right? You know, I don't know what synthetic means outside of it's not organic, okay? Organic in the sense of being organic, right? With a long history of mishaps in terms of the technology itself hasn't been proven to be successful, but yet in British Columbia, Canada, we have absolutely no adverse effects. And if we do, they're so minute that they barely warrant any freaking comment on, other than everybody's going to get the so-called analog, right? Because the studies say, the studies prove, but they completely bypass that VAERS, which we know is not as reliable as it should be, considering how much money from a federal perspective is being pumped into the system, right? But a leaky boat is better than no boat. And in this situation, the Texas Senate, right? The Texas, Governor Rick Perry, right? His, I don't know, co-workers, right? You know he's still roaming the halls, right? Anyway, they acknowledge that there is such a thing as called VAERS in the first place. That's the first note. Where in British Columbia, Canada, they act like it doesn't exist. Oh, I so wanted to swear. Okay. And now whether they go against the grain or they go against the grain, in other words, whether they agree to have forced vaccination or whether they disagree to have unforced vaccination, because both are going against the grain, right? You can't win for losing, right? You know what I mean? I guess it kind of boils down to that balance of justice, right? And really, a Senate is supposed to represent justice. So anyway, that's what they're having this discussion about, because they have to make a decision for their state. Okay? They have to make a decision for their state. And I'll tell you, people, you know, you have to give these guys some credit for going against the grain. Right? In terms of, I guess you could say, even considering the matter, in light of what other people are facing in the world, such as British Columbians in the province of British Columbia, Canada. It's almost like we don't have a choice because of the mantra that comes out of an unelected official who is overpaid for, I want to say rhetoric, because oftentimes she says the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again with really nothing new to say outside of, well, I think we learned something this time. We're still learning, but this study over here says now we can say because we're still learning. Where these guys, they're not learning anymore. They're not stupid. You know, they can see the writing on the wall, right? It's like one of those senators said, how long do we continue to ignore the numbers of deaths? Not to mention the adverse effects that are being registered, whether they've been investigated or not. Nobody is going to sit up there and say, my mom, blah, 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 blah. My dad, blah, 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 blah. My husband, blah, 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 blah. My uncle, blah, 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 blah. My son, blah, 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 blah. Time after time after time after time after time after time again, just to fuck with people's heads. Okay? These are not story writers just wanting to get a little bit of YouTube, or I should say VAERS fame, internet fame, just using their dead loved ones as a means to get notoriety for themselves, even if it's just in a flashing moment. No, these are legitimate complaints being listed down. Legitimate freaking cause and effect reactions. The cause, the effect, the reaction. 4,000 of them at what, 1%? And if we give, you know, a little more credit, no more than 10%. How many more are not being listed down? And this is the thing that I don't get about British Columbia, Canada. I don't understand how all these other people and all these other countries, because it's not just happening in the United States of America, okay? It's happening in the UK and all over, right? How is it that people are dying right after these so-called jabs, analogs, right? You know, just creating a nation of junkies, right? We go down that path, right? It's just a matter of time if people want to get addicted to the fucking needle, because that's what happens, right? And, but yeah, in British Columbia, Canada, like, what, we get two? And the two, you know, the benefit, the risk outweighs the benefit outweighs the risk. So who cares if those two died, when in fact we're not even getting the full statistics out here, people. Right? Anything you want to get, you're going to have to go through the freedom of information, and then it's going to come back. Well, you can't have this. You're going to have to take us to court. Right? In terms of how many people have died after the fact. But you see, we've got Dr. God, Dr. Death, Dr. You know who, up there saying, well, if they died, it was only because they were already ill. They already had comorbidities, and they had, you know, it was just a matter of time before they were going to die anyway. So we can't say that it was related to the analog. Because they could have died the day before we gave them the shot. They just didn't. They died after we gave them the shot. No correlation. Absolutely none. So they just wash away those numbers as they bury them. Because it's not like you can go on a internet website and Google them out and find out that at least 4,000 at 1% has been documented by a whole bunch of storytellers. Okay? Well, these guys sitting up in Texas, they know they're not storytellers. Right? So, you know, I highly recommend you listen to that. And I'm recording it. I'm recording it for the big fight in British Columbia, Canada, when they come for me. I'll be like, look, no. I told you I have a friend. I told you I have a friend in Texas. Okay? Pull out the big guns. Governor Rick Perry's a big gun. Governor Rick Perry, please contact my government for me. Let them know that what they're trying to do is wrong. Okay? If you guys can be free, have liberty and peace, right? I don't see why us British Columbians can't have it. I need help. They're trying to force me to do something that I don't want to do. Unless, of course, Texas chooses to go against the grain in that direction and just compound the situation and make it worse. I mean, that's a pretty big balance of justice, don't you think? Right? But, you know, at least somebody's talking about it. Like I said, I can't find it on YouTube. You know, maybe I'm not Googling it correctly. I don't know where it's uploaded originally, right? But I did find it on BitChute. Okay? So, now, the other thing I want to talk about, here, I'll show you that first. Let's just go on to this. It's right here. Hold on. I'll show you. Okay? I still haven't moved my computer yet. Alright? You can see? Okay? What's the title? See? You can see? Where is it? Senate Committee on State Affairs. All right. This is recent. Okay. Doctors testify before Texas State Senate to oppose mandatory COVID shots. Oops, sorry. Okay, that's the title. You can find it on BitChute, at least. Unless, of course, maybe I should just Google this whole title into YouTube and see what I find. But I did a search here on YouTube, right? It says Texas Senate Committee on State Affairs, mandatory vaccines. Something should come up. The only thing that came up was 1 minute and 11-second little clip through a news outlet out there. Do you see this? Houston Methodist employee among those who testify in support of bill banning mandatory vaccines. Okay, that's the only credit that they gave the Senate at this point that I can find. Everything else goes back 5 months, 2 months, right? So I find that to be very suspicious, people. And here we got somebody else reporting 2 days ago, FDA approval of Pfizer vaccine could lead to vaccine mandates. Okay? So, right? Because that's why the Texas Senate is in debate, because this is being pushed through the back door, right? And through the lobbyists, right? So you know, what does this mean? Federal vaccine mandate, right? Are they trying to make it federal, right? Or are they leaving it up to the states? Before Texas figures it out, they're going to decide what they're going to do. See, 5 months ago, right? Okay? This one here, you know, right? 44 minutes long. Why can't you find it on YouTube? So anyway, go see that. Okay? Right? Doctors, well, here, hold on. If you don't want to Google it, you can go on to New Nations Unity Community Relations. It's just a free message board. Okay? Something I started a while ago. I used to have a message board through my server, but message boards can get complicated if you're not monitoring them all the time in terms of spider bots and spam and that type of stuff. So anyway, here you can see Texas. Okay, if we click on Texas, I'll show you. If you can't find it on BitChute, if you Google and you can't find it in the BitChute search engine, you can always come here and find it. And I'm going to record it too, for myself. Right? For myself, people. Because currently in British Columbia, Canada, I don't know. Something is completely different. So we've got Abbott, that's Governor Abbott provides update on Operation Lone Star. Okay? There's that one there. I think it has something, I can't remember. It may be the immigration problem, like the illegal crossing between Mexico and the United States, right? Of immigrants who are jumping the queue through cartels. And then he that's what he talks about, right? There. And then we have a 24-year-old Texas nurse seizures brain aneurysms 2 hours after J&J shot. Oops, sorry. Okay. I put that there, right? Because it's Texas, you can see. And then I put this one here. Doctors testify before Texas State Senate to oppose mandatory COVID shots. Okay? You can see that. So, you can find that there if you want. You just Google New Nations Unity and you'll come across it, right? Oh my, what's going on? Hold on a minute. Okay, so what I've done is I've moved this computer screen, which you can see is quite big, up here. Really what I want to do, people, is I want to start using this Windows 10, right? But, you know, I'm so boxed in here, it's kind of hard because I want to do live streams. Try it again at some point in the future. And you need basically 2 computer screens when you do it. Plus, each computer can do different things, right? In terms of this is a Windows 7, that's a Windows 10. I like Paint better on Windows 7 than I do on 10. So, besides that point, I'm just trying to move this screen a little bit. Okay. Just glaring up in my face. Alright, so I'm going to take you back to... I wasn't going to make a comment on this, but I'm going to do this anyway, people. Okay, do you see this? It says March 7th, 2011. Okay, we've got the X-Study Club, BC, Canada. Alright, that is when I... Just put it on me for a second. That is when I, what do you call it? You know, working on a non-profit, right? Blah, 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 blah. You know, everything had been registered by that time, but, you know, I just kept working, you know. I believed in my community, right? I believed in my country. I believed in my province. And, you know, I just had so much belief, right? You know what I mean? And so, you know, I rented this music studio. And I had one room for storage in terms of all my equipment. But when I came with the kids, I had access to other rooms. Okay? I'm trying to build in program development. I was trying to bring in, honestly, people, I wanted a choir. I so wanted a choir. Of course, musical instruments too, right? But, you know, I just could hear the children singing, you know, right? And so, anyway, you don't get anything unless you invest into it, unless you work for it, right? You know what I mean? So, that's what I was trying to do. And I paid $500 a month to be able to use the studios, I guess you could say, to bring in this program. Now, you have to remember, I'm dealing with really poor kids. Some of these kids, people, they came from Darfur with 1,000 people sitting up in a freaking refugee camp under tents in the blaring sun with a jug of milk once a week. All right? So it wasn't like I could ask the parents to give me money to build in programs for their children so that they could have a sense of quality of life and be able to, you know, learn through play, right? And then, you know, they'll migrate to what they're good at, and then they build on their skills as they go through life. Sometimes it takes children coming into contact with, oh, you know, I got to play the piano. Oh, I got to play a flute. Oh, you know, I got to sing some songs, for them to wake up that talent in them, and then as they age and mature, they develop that talent, but they didn't know they had that talent until somebody actually gave them a flute and let them just be kids. That's what the X Club was supposed to represent, was to give kids the opportunity to come into contact with different types of musical instruments. When I say I have a rap sheet at Long and McQuaid in terms of those pages with musical instruments that I purchased over the years just so that I could let other people's children play with them, as I worked on and developed the foundation's basic core principles as to what it represents for the community. Okay? The only problem with that place was, it was just a money pit. Okay? They just wanted my money, people. And that's why I only was there for 3 months. To hell with it after the fact. And then I moved the X Club onto my porch, and it's been there ever since. So what? The X Club has been there now for 10 years. 10 years the X Club has been on my porch. It's a / painting room, a / greenhouse, right? And arts and crafts, right? And just whatever is the X Club. I got microscopes in there. I got Fukushima, pre-Fukushima ocean water in there still, people. Okay? If you wanted to see what type of actual isotopes in terms of radiation were in the water before Fukushima blew its stack, they can still test that water and find that there will be minute amounts of radiation, C-34 or whatever, 37 or whatever it is, in terms of actual radiation. There will be minute amounts of it, if at all, in the ocean water in what I have in the X Club right now, compared to if they were to test the waters now and what's been leaking out from Fukushima since that time. And Japan, TEPCO, actually, I came across that little article. I seen it, right? 2022, something like that. They're planning on dumping their freaking radiated water barrels that they've been pumping all this radiated water into their fucking barrels and storing that water that way. They're talking about pumping it into the ocean, which is all going to wash to the west coast of British Columbia, Canada, right? Not to mention what comes in on the freaking rains. So anyway, there's a lot of, okay. So, at that time, when I first got the place, it took me a little bit to gather up the kids, right? And then I started coming with a larger group of kids. Like, we're talking like 10 kids, something like that, 7 to 10 kids. Boys and girls, right? And my thing is play. Just bang, do whatever, right? But we were trying to build in, music lessons, right? Because there was a whole bunch of musicians around, right? Right, this is what was going on in the building at the time. And that music studio was just available with the option of hiring actual music teachers, right? Because people knew how to read and write and teach music. So that's what we were gonna leaning towards. But again, you're dealing with poor parents that can't afford music teachers. I ended up paying for a music teacher out of that process for ShaMay. And she came to the house and was tutoring ShaMay. But then for whatever reason, she got possessive over the kids. And one time I had to go out, and Tisha wanted to go out, and ShaMay was here, and she, for this, whatever reason, this music teacher said, no, you can't go out. Tisha said, yes, I can. Oh, no, your mom's not home. Tisha said, and she laughed, and, I got back, and this teacher was like, blah, 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 and I'm like, well, it wasn't your place to tell Tisha not to go out. You were here just to teach ShaMay music, right? You're right? Anyway, she wasn't ShaMay's music teacher after that. But the point is, we were trying to bring in music teachers, okay? Lessons, right? So that it wasn't just random bang on a drum, bang on a keys. At first, yeah, come in, bang, do, experiment, do what you want, make as much noise as you want, right? Whatever. And then at some point, we're going to try and, bring you all together so that, you can actually learn how to play music together. And my ultimate goal was to have a choir, right? Oh, I so wanted a choir. Anyway, trial and error, people. You don't know until you try, okay? That's all I can say. I have no regrets that I tried it, because if I would never have tried it, I would never have had the X Club all these 10 years sitting up on my porch. And if I had to go without, I would choose to have the X Club, leaky boat and all, okay? And my son's got his seeds in there now growing, right? So, it's done its job. And we've got that pre-Fukushima ocean water in there. So, when TEPCO dumps their freaking radiated water into the ocean and people start, figuring out what's going on, and if the buzz of the day is, I can always pipe in, well, I got pre-Fukushima radiation water if anyone wants to test it for isotopes, as a comparison to what we're facing today in 2023. All right? So, okay. Right? Didn't work out. The kids were making too much noise. That's what ended up happening. I was getting complaints from the people downstairs in their little businesses. Because the numbers were getting larger. That's what that's what was happening. The group was getting bigger. They were, young kids, right? Rambunctious. They first time they ever came into contact with some of the musical instruments, because some of them did come from, were true refugees, and had never seen the things that they were coming into contact when it came to musical instruments in light of from where they actually came from. And, but again, we were trying to build in, music lessons, right? So, okay, I didn't do a lot of videos in those days. I was still learning about the camera, whatever. YouTube, you're only allowed, I think at the time, 10-minute videos, or 15-minute. I think it was 10-minute, and then it went to 15 minutes, and now you can do hours and hours and hours. But, how long is this video for? This one's only 4 minutes and 40, at the time, I was newbie on the camera, right? So for whatever reason, this video, the first one that I have in my playlist called the X Study Club, right? Okay, all right, get to the gist. Well, okay. That's the history of the X Club, right? Eventually, after 3 months, I pulled out of there because they were trying to stifle the kids' growth. They didn't want the kids to make music, whether it made sense or not, right? They wanted everybody to be as quiet as a church mouse. And I'm like, what the hell? How can you expect people to rent your premises if it's meant to make noise, right? And then you tell them to be quiet. Okay, it didn't work. So I pulled out of there. But as we were, I took little clips here and there. And so one in particular has come to my attention because I'm just going to say it, people. Julian's sister, I don't know what this girl's problem is, but let me just tell it to you like this. All right? She took one of those videos from the original X Club. Obviously from somebody, like I said, I had different music teachers on premises. Okay? I hired one of them myself. I couldn't hire more than one at a time because I myself was poor. So I settled to hire a music teacher to help ShaMay with piano before I did Tisha with a saxophone, okay, for example. I wanted to hire two of them, but I couldn't afford to hire two, so I hired the one. And even then, it was on a very low scale in terms of what ShaMay would have benefited from if I could have afforded more. But you have to remember, I was paying for the premises. Not only was I paying for the premises, but I was paying for all the other expenses to push forward the program. To seed the program in the community so that it could grow and actually be a part of the community where more children would come into contact with music and have available lessons at an affordable rate to them so that they can excel on their gift. All right. So I guess at one point, because I had, like I said, they opened up the floor for me. I have all my stuff in one room, locked up, and then when I came with the kids, they'd allow me to go into other rooms to span out, right, so that kids could take their music lesson and go off and or whatever. Many times they were just running around beeline, just like playing hide and go seek, and because it was a new environment and because it was an older building, it just kind of gave that feel, right? So, they So I was going from room to room, chasing after kids, whatever, just dealing with whatever I was dealing with. I walked into this one room where obviously Tisha and Paige were listening to a man who was teaching them guitar. Okay? All right, so I walk in because I'm like, I'm dealing with kids running around and banging over there and, and blah and blah. And, so I'm going from room to room to room, and I come into this room and there's Tisha and Paige sitting on a chair with a guy playing a guitar. Okay, no, right? So what is this, a private lesson? That's all I said, people, right? And, kids, whatever. you know, nobody wants, you know, it was enough that people were trying to build on community programs. The last thing anybody wanted was suspicion of wrongdoing. So obviously the guy got up and said, oh no, that's not what you're thinking, and he ran out. And of course the girl started giggling, and I'm like, right, because what, you know, right? I mean, all the doors were open, people. I was going from room to room to room. I walked into the room. Oh, what's this? A private lesson? Because we were trying to build in fucking private lessons, for crying out loud. Right? You know, hook up the right student with the right teacher at the right price. Right? You know, when you have $0 to start a program like that, it is extremely hard to move it forward, especially when you've got people in the community that don't want you to succeed because they themselves cannot do it like you. In terms of, they can't go out there and start programs because, one, they don't have it in them to even try. And before they allow other people to be happy, to get ahead in life, to grow, to become beautiful on the inside in terms of music, they would sabotage it. Misery likes company. Okay. So, you know, there's all kinds of shit going on, right? And then, of course, money, right? And I paid for it, people. Trust me, I dug deep in my pocket to make that happen so that we could have at least a fighting chance to bring in programs for the local kids in our community. But, you know, it just didn't happen, right? So I pulled out. Okay, fair enough. It was a good learning experience. You know, would I do it again under the right circumstances? For sure. Because if I tried it again, next time I just might get my choir. Right? I just might get a band of kids actually playing music together and growing and being happy, right? That's my motivation. That's what I'm there for, right? All right. Well, I don't know. Julian's sister, I've been telling you people, she creeps my yard, okay? I'll put it fucking out there. She lives in the fucking neighborhood. She lurks behind her YouTube channel, behind her TikTok, behind her Bigo, behind her Instagram, behind her fucking whatever, Twitter, whatever else she's got. She just hides behind it. She talks behind my back on her live streams, okay, to gain attention for herself because people like to listen to fucking gossip before they would actually investigate the truth, right? You know what I'm saying? And she uses sex appeal to gain attention from, I guess you could say, men or lesbians in that case, right? Just so that she can elevate herself into, I guess, being a YouTube star or maybe a TikTok star or maybe a Bigo star. I don't know what kind of star she's shooting for, but if you notice, she sure tags herself onto an international federal trademark name. Without that, how far do we honestly think she could go? Now, here's the thing. She just did 4 little videos, right? Because she stalks my videos, people, as like she stalks my yard, okay? And she brought up the X Club and insinuated that I was running a pedophile fucking ring in there, okay? Which I was not. I was building in programs and trying to bring in, you know, one-on-one, private class instead of a whole fucking group with a bunch of boys bouncing around and, you know, poking at the girls or poking at, you know, and just being fidgety, right? You know how kids are fidgety, man. They're fucking fidgety, right? Right? You get 10 kids together, you're going to get a lot of fidgetiness. And if they find out that they can run around in the freaking halls and not go play music because they're too busy just exploring their environment, you know, the ones that really want to learn, they need that private class. Paige was really interested in learning a musical instrument. It's just that place never took root because it just became about money, 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 and then don't make no noise. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't mind paying the money as long as I can do it my way. And if I can't do it my way and let the kids make noise, then I'm out of there. And I left. Okay? But what this girl is doing, now, why don't you just report it to YouTube? Well, let me tell you something. I've done all that in the past, people. And YouTube, they side with what sells. And for them, sex sells, okay? Let's just face it. Sex, sadism, all this other fucking nasty shit, that sells for YouTube, right? And that's fine, But at the end of the day, you're right, this is, this is nothing new, what she's doing, outside of, here's some new information. Okay, let me remind those that are aware of this that she promotes herself for her little private shows with her butt shaking. Okay, I'm trying to be polite here. Okay, right? And I mean, so she's using a federal trademark to gain attention to herself so that ultimately she can make more money shaking her butt on the internet with her private shows. This is what YouTube is supporting. Okay? This is what YouTube is supporting. Because I know if I come in through their, little complaint process, blah, 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 this wouldn't matter if it was cyberbullying and harassment, they'll ignore it. It wouldn't matter if it was something sexual, as what she was doing with ShaMay's pictures, which those pictures were taken after the fact of Julian manhandling her at her mother's house, at Julian's mother's house. And ShaMay had to run away and leave everything behind, including her cell phone, to which this sister never gave back to ShaMay because she stole it. So if you ever see that nude picture with ShaMay looking in the freaking, right? Look at her legs, look at her thighs. It's all bruised up, people. That was 7 days after she gave birth or whatever it was. And she had to run her ass back home and leave those people in the dust. She left everything. It took that mother, that grandmother of Amari, Julian's mother, right? How many days to bring back ShaMay's shit? 3 weeks? A month? And then just dropped it off and ran out. Didn't say anything. Okay? 7 months later, 6 months later, my daughter was dead. And I've been gang stalked ever since. Well, YouTube, doesn't matter if it's a sexual thing I put, they'll leave the video up. If I do personal, whatever, using my name, whatever, right? Using Tisha's name, she spouting out our names, using federal trademarks, anything to garner attention to herself so that at the end of the day, she can go into her back room, changing her clothes and do her little peep show on her YouTube channel and post it up on her little TikTok and do whatever and then do her, her gossiping and all this other shit on some other fucking website and and then charge whoever's watching all that shit money to watch her strip through webcam. And I'm like, I really wonder what the CEO of YouTube would think about that. Knowing what I know. Right? Well, how else am I going to deal with it, people? YouTube won't take it down. Anything. This girl might as well own the trademarks herself. Well, what is she accomplishing? Why? Because I've actually filed a trial. I've actually filed a trial with the government to hold to account what they did to my daughter by ignoring the fact that she was dead. First of all, in the house for an hour while her body was being moved by a suspect. By a suspect. With her phone disappearing for 24 hours after the suspect comes back in and sneaks into the house to put it back. Something in the system needs to change, people. Cops aren't doing their job. Okay? We have over 2,000 people that have died in the last year because of fentanyl. As the government is enabling it just to fucking continue on by pumping in millions and millions of dollars to prop up drug addiction without holding anyone to account as to how they even become drug addicted in the first place and how they become injured over a period of years because of drugs and then how they die because of drugs, assuming that they even get that far in terms of living. Okay? If they can spend millions and millions and millions of dollars to prop up drug addiction, they can spend millions and millions and millions of more dollars into the enforcement, like the justice system, to enforce that people that sell drugs, those kind of drugs, people, right? And just a whole lot of other shit that goes around that crap. And there's like little death here, little death, and it's like they're little like walking, death zombies. They got little clouds of death all around them, Well, it's a wake-up call, people. It's a wake-up call. Obviously, it's by design, and these people, they need to go to jail. That's a start. That's a start. What, she doesn't like me saying that? That's too fucking bad. I would have preferred if you guys just would have kept your fucking asses sitting up in Alberta or Nova Scotia or wherever the hell you came from. Right? My daughter would be alive today, as far as I'm concerned. Or if the cops would have done their job, put his ass in jail, then yeah, ShaMay would have said, I don't want to be with a jailbird, and would have left his fucking ass. And she'd be alive today. Okay? Doesn't give you the right to use a federal trademark name and to put false accusations out there to try and to defame my character when you can't even walk the fucking talk. Okay? First of all, you weren't there. You weren't at the X Club. You're the one that tries to tear it down because you're so miserable with your own damn life. You want everybody else around you to be miserable. Okay? So that's fine. You go ahead. You be miserable. I'm aware of what you're doing. Okay? I'm talking to you through YouTube. You got your little YouTube war. Isn't that what you've been pushing for the last 3 years? I noticed your number counts are going up in terms of your YouTube subscribers, but I know where it's coming from. Shaking that ass. Okay? That's where it's coming from. It's not because you have any content or you have any fucking substance. What you got is 10 pounds of makeup on your fucking face with acrylic nails and fake hair. That's what you got. Okay? So don't fool yourself. Right? Okay, so I'm going to finish it on this, and then I'm going to add in the Matilda part, right? Okay? It is what it is. This is a Mosh Posh video. We've got Texas, 3,000 miles away. We've got this individual, scoping my yard, and right? Using federal trademarks to promote herself. Okay? Basically, she's been doing it for a long time, right? Ever since ShaMay's been dead. All right? And this is the video right here that I'm talking about. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch it before. And she just did this a day ago. Okay, she's doing this, people, because I'm talking about court. That's what it is. Right? She wants me to change the narrative in terms of what happened to ShaMay. And why I am in actually a legitimate court of law. A federal court to boot. All right? And she thinks it's a game. Okay, and this is how she plays her game. Okay, this is her content. Now, apparently this little video is going around because somebody that knows Tisha, that's been in my house, that's grown up around me, right? That knows how hard I've been fighting all these years for all the right reasons when it comes to things like the X Club, okay? In terms of music programs and choirs and blah, blah, blah. What do you call it? Excuse me, that was a burp. And he said, oh yeah, Tisha, like, what's going on with this girl? Like, she's stupid. Well, not this girl. This girl. This girl. Okay? So, here I'm talking about court. she's mocking it. Are there any comments on it? No, not yet. She probably thumbs them all up herself because she has like 5, 10 different multiple user accounts. Right? Because she suffers from multiple personalities, I swear. Anyway, she just added in a bunch of laughing. You can hear it. Right? Just mocking me. Right? Right? Just capitalizing off of the death of ShaMay, my daughter. Okay? This girl has no access. She doesn't... Right? She labels herself the real sister to ShaMay or something like that, which is not true. Okay? Right? Do you see how she does this? Do you see how she's attaching herself to somebody that she has no right to? Not to mention federal trademark names? Just to gain attention to herself so that at the end of the day, she can promote her butt shaking for $1 through Backpage or some other website that allows girls to do that for tokens and shit. Okay, because that's what she does, people. Right? So we got that. You can go watch it if you want. Give her some attention. That's what she's looking for. Doesn't change the narrative, though. Right? Doesn't change the fact that I'm the one that's in court. It's not my fault that your brother's name is listed down on that problem. Right? Maybe if my daughter never had met that problem, I wouldn't be talking about it, but I am. And then, yard check. Well, the only reason she can do any kind of yard check is because she's been watching my videos. So it's not like she came up with that idea on her own. And what she likes to do is she goes into other people's videos, people, I'm telling you. As she videotapes and then she imports herself in there to make it look like she's part of that video when in fact it's just somebody else's video that she got up off the internet. That's what she does. So I highly doubt this is her garden, because if it was her garden, you would see her in the fucking dirt. Just like you see me. So what? You see some feet, and how do we even know those are her feet? Right? Like, where's the girl's face? If she's bold enough to, steal federal trademark names to garner attention for herself, and then, have to use ShaMay to gain attention for herself so that she can make money at the end of the day somewhere else as she sits up on another site gossiping and trash talking so that she can get more followers, because in the last day since she's done this, I don't know what she's up to, right? But she gained 30 subscribers. 30 subscribers in the last 2 days. Or whatever it's been since she's done this. Okay? These are just little preludes. Now this is the one I'm talking about here. So there's that Fukushima water. Right? Here she's got it down as, okay, now if I put in a report against this with YouTube, point out that she's using a federal trademark that she has no right to, they would ignore it. Point out that it was her brother that murdered my daughter and this girl has absolutely no right to be using anything like this, right? They would ignore it, right? Point out that she's accusing me of, what, child neglect? But as she does her little video, she insinuates it's pedophilia and that I'm promoting pedophilia, okay? I'll walk you through it, okay? YouTube would completely ignore it. They let it stay up, people. They'll let it stay up. So that's why I'm not doing shit with it right now, outside of when I get time or I'm in court with the government, okay? The government can deal with this shit because it was the government that created it, in my opinion, because they never fucking dealt with Julian, all right? They never dealt with Julian. They took his money and they let him fucking go thinking that he was slick and that he could continue selling drugs. I have the paperwork on it, people, to prove that they took his fucking money. He never went back and got it. They knew it was drug money. They didn't search him. You know where he was hiding his dope? Where his balls were, people. If they would have fucking searched him, they would have fucking found the dope and the guy would have been in jail. That is why Howie is dead. Because Howie ate the dope to protect Julian. Only Howie never had a chance to puke up the dope, and that's why he died. Which, in my opinion, is manslaughter. Okay? Something that this girl doesn't want to understand. Right? ShaMay wasn't the first person to die around Julian. Okay? So anyway, signs of child neglect. News. Oh, this is news, right? Something from March or May of 7th of 2011. She doesn't know the history of the X Club. She doesn't know anything outside of she wants to trash me. She wants to defame me. She wants to destroy my family. Okay? Which is really nothing new when you go into her videos and you listen to how she talked about, oh, I just went into her boyfriend's house and fucked him and left the tampons, left the bobby pins, and left my hand cream or whatever it was, just so that when ShaMay showed up, she'd know that another woman was around because it was the right thing to do. Yeah, okay. It was the right thing to do. There's video on that too, people. There's her video. She admits it. Right? So she was sabotaging ShaMay before ShaMay even had a chance to notice it. Well, she just taken that and now she's doing it to the rest of my family. Okay? See? Right? My water's boiling. I'm going to go get my coffee. I'm going to finish this. Hold on. Okay, so before I turn this on, I just want to remind people that for people that follow this stuff and like this kind of shit, they're just all dogs in heat. Like, seriously, you know? It's more than who let the dogs out, okay? Because at the end game for her is to gain attention to herself so she can book her little private fucking shows, shake her ass online, and make money. And the only way she can seem to get attention for herself is by using infringing people on federal trademarks, as well as desecrating, right? My daughter. The memory of my daughter. Right? She has no right. Justice for ShaMay. She's not anything for justice for ShaMay. Okay? You heard it from the mother. I am ShaMay's mother. There is no justice for ShaMay when it comes to this individual. Okay? Because it was this individual who was planting tampons, bobby pins, and hand cream at ShaMay's boyfriend's house so that she could break up ShaMay and her boyfriend and just weasel her way into a relationship that ultimately this is what she's doing. Okay? Alright, so let's see.
Shout out to who? Shout out to all the people. To all the
we'll
people
just watch this.
The world. Well, that's it, but also, but this is dedicated to the people in the Gulf Coast and
so that's when the kids were younger. I took them to the ocean. You can see. I had an idea of how to deal with the BP oil spill in terms of capping the well, right? And so I was just bringing my cuppets to kind of just show, you know, just getting into the YouTube game, people, right? Trying to be proactive, you know, trying to promote the foundation, right? Blah, 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 blah. Okay? So that's all that is. Like I said, I have this water in the X Club, people, from this day that a scientist could use as a comparison in terms of what type of isotopes are in our ocean waters in 2021 versus in 2011 or 10 or whatever it was. Because this was before pre-Fukushima. So she speeds up the video.
Wink, wink. Okay. Hi. Right now we're just
That's Dallas.
Yeah?
She has 2 children now.
What'd you get? Well, yesterday, by the grace of God, I found this. And this is kind of interesting because it kind of speaks for what I'm trying to express here. The grace of God. The grace of God. I don't know, 102,000 times smaller than what it should be. But let's just say, if we went to
Okay. And her point is, what's her point, people?
Okay.
Ooh la la. What's wrong with ooh la la?
We just like to dress up, right?
When you're out there putting yourself in front
that was such a...
of the hits, in terms of you want
Yeah.
the people that aren't so okay. Same. Look. I didn't see this before. Same kitchen supplies she uses now from 1998. where's this girl? What's 1998? Why did she put, do you see how she just, right? Same kitchen supplies she uses now from 1998. Yeah, okay, and what's your point? That's child neglect? Like, the girl is whacked.
Alright, so now we're back at the shop, the X Club, and something's in this room.
Okay, so now she's taken the X Club. This is where I'm wandering around, I told you, from room to room with a bunch of kids running around, right? We're trying to build on program development. I've got some teachers on site, right? Okay.
Oh, what's in this room?
What's in this? What was in the private lesson? Okay, she's the only one that's doing private lessons, people, making money off of it. And that's why I'm making comment on this, okay? All right? Private lesson. I explained it to you. I don't need to go in circles. She's taken it. She's twisted it because she's trying to sabotage me, at the same time make herself look good because she's promoting what? Justice for ShaMay, as if she really wants justice for ShaMay. And then ultimately, though, she's looking for clientele that when they're done and bored with listening to the gossip, they'll pay to look at her fucking twat, basically. Okay? That's what it's about. That's what we're dealing with here. Okay? She's a twat seller.
Really? Can I open it?
Only she can't deal with herself. She's got to somehow take her lewdness, right? She's lewd, right? That's what lewd people do. And she's importing it into here to sabotage my family for whatever reason, right? And now that we're in court, I make reference. It's not like I'm calling out her last name. It's not like I'm calling out Julia's last name, right? If I even mention Julian, if anything, I side more with my grandkid. My grandkids, Amari, has lost both parents.
The door? No, it's a private lesson. I practice in here.
Okay. You can see the books, right? Equipment. The guy, you can see an extra guitar there. This guy was playing guitar. I had guitars all over the place in there, okay? Like I said, my rap sheet is with Long and McQuaid Music Company, okay? You go there, you print out like, I don't know, 8 pages full of things that I've bought over the years while working on the nonprofit. Does that girl talk about that? No, of course not. Do you see the drums? Right? Young girls, older man. Yeah, well, the teacher who was teaching ShaMay was a woman. Came from the same environment. Right? She was a piano player. This guy happened to play guitar. Right? Young girls, older men. He runs quickly out of the room. Well, yeah, because, nobody wanted to be accused of being a pedophile. Right? Sexual activity at young age. No, there was nothing sexual about that. But you see, we're dealing with somebody that has a problem with their own sexuality and are hypersexual. Okay? I've talked about it in the past. I'm not going to get into it again. But if you look at her videos, you look how she carries herself, you look at what she promotes, you look at what she does, you look at who she looks up to and sees as father figures, and was obviously very resentful and very jealous of ShaMay dating Julian, to the point where she's completely spiteful even after all these years of ShaMay being dead. You have to analyze this for what it really is, people. Low parental guidance. That's impossible because I was running through that whole floor. Okay? I had more than one kid on that premises. I had more than one teacher on that premises. Okay? ShaMay was probably with the piano teacher in a different room. Okay? So let's keep it like in line here. He runs quickly out of the room. People weren't comfortable with putting together the program in terms of if we would have been successful and would have been doing it for a while and everybody was comfortable with their roles, I'm sure that guy would have played us a fucking song. But because we were just coming into the game, see, there's another amp. Whose amp do you think that was? And of course they start laughing because everybody's got a dirty mind, you know, right? 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 I guess that's what we're looking at. You know, people just kind of went, ooh, private lesson, ooh, and, you know, ooh. Doesn't mean anything was going on, right? Because if it was, I just would have left everybody there and fucked off and had some free time to myself so I could go do my hair, put on 10 pounds of makeup, and make some fake fucking nails so I could run around thinking I was a woman. But I wasn't doing that, people. I was on the premises monitoring the situation, going from room to room, trying to set up legitimate programs, right? Create gainful employment, and expand young people's minds. Does YouTube want to acknowledge that? Probably not. Because if I put a complaint on this video, under any section, they're going to ignore it. And they're going to let it stay up. And then her fans, her shake butt fans, right? They're just going to take it for face value and go on the attack. And if they live in Surrey, some of those fans are probably already creeping my yard.
I gotta learn how to do this too. Okay, do the grand. The X Club rant. I'm gonna rant, I think, for a little while on this.
Okay, so now she takes another video.
And as I'm ranting, I'm gonna try and throw in some philosophy and some basic principles of life, and you know.
Right, she focuses where the broom is.
The way I view life, move there, and I have the same problem.
And then she focuses on this. This is when I first moved in. I had to get all my electrical outlets changed after I moved my dressers in place. I had to pull all my dressers out, get all the electrical outlets changed because it turned out they needed to be changed. And just as the electrical outlets needed to be changed, a lot of the pipes needed to be fixed. And this just happened to be one of those pipes, people. Okay, this was pretty much when I first moved in. My landlady ended up doing all the electrical outlets, so I'm comfortable with that because, you know, right? I have a video on that, you know. All my pipes are fine. Nothing leaks. We even got the main line replaced. Okay? But anyway, she's taking this because she's trying to show that, you know what, I'm mixing electricity with water. Well, that's the way it works. Right? The pipe is dripping this way. It's not going that way. It's going this way. And even if it goes that way, there's a cover there, and there's breakers in this, people. Right? There's breakers through the breaker box that would kick it out before anything bad would really happen. Not to say that you don't want to, you know, you don't want to mix water with electricity. But at the end of the day, what is she suggesting here?
You know, if you don't like it, move. Because I complained about several things that were wrong in the house. Well, the fourplex, you know, hydro, but no lights. You know, things didn't work. Fridge was leaking all the time, right? You know. And
so her OnlyFans who aren't, oh, I want to say it, Jerking off. When they're not doing that, they get off on watching this shit, right? In terms of that gossip that, you know, their minds can relate to and nothing else in terms of what's real and what's not real.
No, I'm talking. She want, don't, I don't want to clip it. All right, so, you know, look at one of my tires. My right-hand tire was so ragged that the wires were out. And this is the conditions that I moved my family under.
It's not easy being a YouTuber, people, promoting a universal,
if you don't like it, move. Because I complained about several things.
Non-profit.
Well,
I was going to say school meal program, but
things didn't work.
you get the point, right?
Right, you know, and I'm talking. She want, don't, I don't want to clip it. All right, so, you know, East Indians, South Asians, whatever you want to call themselves, Hindu, Punjabi, it doesn't really matter. It's not being racist, you know, they're not like me, so they're somebody, right?
Oh yeah, she likes to say I'm racist. Because every now and then I'll end it here. Every now and then I'll bring up ethnic groups and, you know, maybe talk about their not so strong points. Okay, every ethnic group harbors racism, bigotries, and prejudices, and so does political institutions, including the courthouse. Okay, so that's like anybody with a educated mind would know that. And just because you talk about something doesn't necessarily make you racist yourself. What it does is it brings issues to the surface. Okay? Anybody can be a victim to racism when it's convenient for them. Right? So anyway, I'm going to end it there. I just want people to know that I'm aware of this. I'm not even going to try and put in those reports with YouTube, right? Because they ignore it for whatever reason, just like they shadow ban my channel for whatever, or my videos or whatever, for whatever reason, okay? And, you know, I guess it goes back to that misery likes company stuff. And, you know, right? What else can it be, people? And eventually, one way or another, whether it's through court, which more than likely it will be, this will be dealt with, okay? As well as the CEO of Google will be informed of what YouTube is specifically doing and how they're doing it and how they're allowing it to happen without, you know, why have those rules or whatever, you know, if you're not gonna apply them, right? And since they're not applying them, people need to know what they're supporting in terms of, oh, well, you know, yeah, well, you know, out of 10 people, 2 are paying for that, shake that ass, okay? Okay, I don't know what's going on with Matilda, but she's still here. What's going on, Matilda? What's going on with you? You're just laying there still after all this time. It's been a couple, 2 hours, 3 hours. What's going on? Oh, baby, I just don't know. Oh, my. What's going on with you? I'll wash this tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'll put a little blanket out there and see if you'll lay on it. Maybe you will. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. She's just chilling. You're just a chilly bean. Why? And along comes Mickey. See? Right? You're just chilling. She won't come inside unless she's hungry. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you want a belly rub? Maybe she's still got babies inside her and they're just moving around and it's bugging her. She's back to that twitching again. Are those babies moving around and just bugging you and you just haven't popped them out yet? Like you just acting like a little dog. Honest to God. And if she comes in, she goes for the cat box. Right? You know, this is as far as she'll go. She'll look for the cat box. But outside of that, She just comes to the door and she knows, right? And look at her. What is she doing, people? What is she doing? Hey, have you not had your babies yet? Do you want a belly rub? Your belly does look big. Doesn't that belly look big, people? Come on, Matilda, you can't have your babies right there, okay? We went through this the other night. You stressed me out so much. Oh, she's twitching, people. She's twitching. And look, are you having contractions? This is what Sky was doing. And you're just being a chill raccoon. So I don't want to be by myself. No. I need a midwife. Mm-hmm. Do you need a midwife, Matilda? Huh? Her belly does look big, don't you think, people? Look, is it my imagination station, or is that belly big? Huh? Are those babies just getting to be too much for you? How many do you have? 6 of them? Oh, see, she's just curling up. Huh? Poor baby. Oh, I'll leave the door open. Right, because I closed it, but she didn't go away. Right? So she won't come in, though. That's as far as she'll go. Right? Like I say, the only time she'd come in is if she was looking for cat food or something in the bucket, because she knows there's cat food in the bucket. But outside of that, she won't come in. Poor baby. So I don't know, people. I don't know what's going on with her. What's going on, Matilda? Huh? Are those babies bugging you? This is what, 3 days now, people? 3 days? This is the 3rd day. She wasn't here yesterday. Or wait. This is the 4th day? This is the 4th day. How many days is this? Because she was out here last night. But she wasn't here the day before, but she was. So this is going on the 4th day. What's going on, Matilda? Look at her. Look at her nails. Hey? Those are some seriously sharp nails. Oh. Like I said, my pot belly's been getting in the way. Oh, yeah. I want to see these nails. Look at those nails. Those are some serious nails. Look at the pads. Hey? Pretty cool. What are you doing, Matilda? What is it you're doing? Her belly does look big. She's twitching. They're probably moving around in her like crazy. She says, I'm just getting too old for this. This is how many times? 3 times? Or is it 4 times? Why can't you get me fixed? She's asking me. Right, you got the cats fixed. They don't have to worry about this shit no more. I'm getting tired. Can't you see? See? Do you see? She's twitching. Wait, what the heck is going on? And here I thought you had your babies. But it doesn't seem like you did. No. Twitching. Well, all we can do is wait.
Okay.
Zoom in on her.
Okay. You tell the story now.
Oh, Matilda. Only reason she's not here right now is because I'm spraying water. She was rubbing her belly like this. See if she does it again. She's grooming herself. She's not going nowhere, people. Just being a chill raccoon, man. It's so funny. So funny.
Where's...
Huh?
Look at her. Now.
Yeah.
Wait,
I cleaned everything.
yeah.
This table has to go down. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I have to put it in the lettuce room.
Yeah, I can't get her for some reason.
What's that?
I said I can't get her. Can't see what she's doing. Here, can you get her? Can't get her.
She's right next to Mickey. The 2 camera hams. Mickey. Matilda.
And right on the same side.
Yeah, they're both camera hams. For sure.
Vicky should be growling. But
No.
she's just going like...
No. That's just too cool. Okay, so that raccoon, she just moved over there. But I can almost guarantee you, once she realizes I'm not in here spraying water, she's coming right back in here. Now, I cleaned that off, so we'll see how long it takes for her to get to her, what is it? Where is she? There she is. Her post. What is it with this raccoon? I'm serious, she really loves us, people. Like, this raccoon loves us, okay? See? There she is. She came back. I don't know why, but she did. Why do you like it there? What's going on with you? Like a little dog. Hey, Matilda? You're just like a little dog.
And when you said Matilda, she looked at you. So that is Matilda.
It is. It's Matilda. She's older now. This is why she's acting like this. Do you love us? You love us, don't you, Matilda? She loves us, people. That's what it
Her
is.
tail's wet. I can see.
Yeah, well, that thing is wet, but she's cleaning herself anyway. I cleaned it for her.
Yeah.
Matilda, it's a little damp.
Yeah,
Is it damp? I'm sorry. I'd give you a blanket. I don't know. Would she lay on a blanket?
I think maybe give her that thing you were taped on.
Yeah.